Welcome back into HQ. Chris was not supposed to be a part of this. I've dragged him over here because he is our uniform snob.
Yeah.
Self-described uniform snob. We always like to see if you call it the drip for Army Navy. So these are what the uniforms looking like this year. Army going all black. You gotta love that all the time. So I'm gonna read to you.
I don't like all black.
This honors the 101st Airborne Division, specifically in World War II, Battle of the Bulge. It actually says Screaming Eagles on the helmet. Navy, I'm gonna have to talk to our graphics people because this is honoring the Jolly Rogers, which was the most lethal division they have. You see Jolly Rogers right there. But they have skull and crossbones on the side of the helmet, which I think is amazing.
That's all you need right there.
Because their
skull and
motto
crossbones
is
on the helmet. My job is done.
That's it? You're leaving?
Navy's the winner of the uniform battle this season.
Why don't you like all black?
It just doesn't pop.
I don't know about that. All right, let's bring in Gary.
I need some pop.
You need some pop. The Navy uniforms definitely pop. We get Gary Danielson. We get into the year, Gary Danielson. We're sporting the Purdue sweatshirt. He's got the glasses on. We're getting ready for this weekend. Gary, I got to ask you, though, what Army-Navy number game is this for you? You've done so many of these.
This will be number 17. How great is that? More than anyone's ever. And don't listen to Chris. He just likes those Iowa uniforms that Hayden Fry designed back in the day.
Yeah,
he's not changing. He's not changing.
He absolutely isn't. Look, I love this game. We love it every single year. But in particular this year, I mean, there's going to be so many eyes on it. We have an Army team that's at 11-1 coming off an AAC championship game. Navy, I mean, they were up there for so much of the season. They're sitting at 8-3. We have seen offensive turnarounds for both of these teams. Does it feel like there's a little bit more on the line other than just the Commanders and Trophy this year?
I mean, look at me. I mean, how I look here. I've been preparing all week for this thing. Usually, you know, we get 8, 10, 15, 17 points in a game, but these two teams can move the ball. I mean, that has been the commitment. And I think it mostly comes from the past experience of this football game. Neither one of these teams have been able to move the ball in this game against each other. So this year, the commitment for both of these teams, you know, Army, you know, with their great Captain America, Bryson Daly at quarterback, they just pound you with one of the best offensive lines in the country. And for Navy, they've kind of opened it up. You know, they've gone a little bit of pass, a little bit of quarterback run, but both of them more committed to having offense and not just playing a field position game. Can't wait to do the game. I love it every year. I mean, every yard matters, but this year it might be every point matters instead of every yard matters in the football game.
Absolutely. We're looking at the video there. You see Army running it up the middle a lot. Navy runs it along the outside a lot of the times there. But you called him Captain America. Bryson Daly here. Most rushing yards by a quarterback this season. What has made him so elite, and why is he so crucial in this game?
You know, the whole offense goes through Bryson. I mean, he's as tough as anybody. He's Texas tough. I almost vision, you know, like, and I'll use this during the game, if Tim Tebow played quarterback for one of these academies, he would be Bryson Daly. I mean, tough every play of the game. I mean, to be a leader of men at this institution, I mean, when the guys on his team say he's the toughest guy they've seen, you know how tough you are. This Army team is put together through him. Their offensive line, listen to this. I mean, they got 2 first-team All-AAC offensive linemen and 3 second-team All-AAC linemen. That's how ground-oriented this football team is. They hold the ball. They're playing great football, and you know, they had, you know, couldn't match up against Notre Dame, but I wonder how many teams in college football they couldn't give a tough match to. You know, maybe there's 6, 8 of them, and maybe Notre Dame was one of them. But Navy's going to have their hands filled. But I got a feeling that Navy is a little tired of taking this year. And their quarterback, Blake Horwath, don't sleep on this guy. He put over 400 yards total offense in that great win against Memphis. This should be a really good offensive football game.
So talk to us about Blake, because he has been beat up. There was a question if he was going to even start this game. I think we're hearing that he's going to start. I don't know if you've met with Navy yet. What can you tell us about their quarterback situation?
I think Blake is good to go. I think you'd have to, you know, he's had his thumb problem a year ago. He's been beat up this year, but I think you'd have to cut off his arm not to play in this football game this year. He watched it last year, and he's really transformed this football team. And, of course, their new offensive coordinator, Drew Connick, has come from Mercer, kind of changed them a little bit more misdirection in their offense that I've seen in the past. Kind of been holed up here trying to figure out how different it is and way might attack it. But I'm really curious to see how these teams match up, because as good as Army is, the Navy defense returned 7 starters that started in this game a year ago. So they're going to be ready for it when they held them to only 1 touchdown. There's matchups all over the field, but this game has a way of producing, like I say, all the way to the last yard of the football game.
And knowing what it's like is just such a big thing. There is so much pomp and circumstance. It's in D.C. this year. All of these dignitaries are going to be there. It's going to be incredible. While we have you, Gary, we got to ask you about Bill Belichick going to college football, going to North Carolina. What was your initial reaction when this thing finally became final?
Well, on a shock factor of 1 to 10, I was in the 12 to 15 range, to tell you the truth. I don't know. Maybe he's got some connection that he doesn't know about. Like maybe Michael Jordan got him Phil Knight to pump in some money. Bill thinks everything out. The first team I played on, the Detroit Lions, Bill got his first NFL job as our tight end coach on that very first team that I played on. So we've both had long careers, and Bill's going to keep it going. I never really would have expected this, but he's a pretty smart guy, and he must have a good plan, and he's convinced North Carolina of it. And college football is a lot different than it was even 1 year ago. So let's put it this way. I'm ready to tune in to find out how it's going to go. I bet you are too.
I think we all are. And I believe his dad was actually assistant for a short stint in Navy. He spoke to Navy before this particular game last year. So Bill's going to be tuning in while we tune in to Bill. Gary, enjoy yourself. Have so much fun. It is one of my favorite games of this season. Army-Navy, again, the 125th installment. You can check it out Saturday, 3 Eastern on CBS. You can also stream it on Paramount+.